Hey guys, how's it going? Super early today, 9:32. Ah, it's crazy. How's it going? Super early. All right, so today we're going to learn all about the Holocaust. So I'm super excited about that, though it's a somber thing. Today I'm going to try something new where I made a video yesterday, and instead of posting the video onto my YouTube channel and being a little redundant, what I thought to like break up the monotony of me just sitting in my chair, I thought that maybe I would teach you guys for like 10 minutes, and then I'm going to show the video on stream of the Holocaust video that I made, and then you can watch that. I am going to be shutting off the chat when that is. I'll warn it when it's coming up, but when I'm about to show the video, I'm going to shut the chat off just because I don't want you chatting away. I want you watching the screen. That's important. By the way, I miss Disney World, and so I have my Disney World mug. I wish I was in Disney World right now. That's for sure. Spencer, how do I sound, sir? Oh, Megan. Hi, Megan. Yeah, we have Virtual Spirit Week. We're gonna be doing it. So you could totally send pictures to the CM Twitter account, and they will put you on the Send and Riches Twitter and kind of promote you and things like that. I sound good. This is the new mic. Does it really sound good? Don't just be nice to me, Spencer. You tell me the truth, sir. Does it sound better? Yeah, see, a lot better. See, Drew? I agree. A lot better. Want to see it? Ready? Here we go. Ready? Oh, look at that. Look at that beauty. Huh? It was actually cheap, but whatever. You know, all this teaching from home stuff, you have to like go out and like shop on Amazon, had a field day. Sounds like I'm in front of you. Look at that. Well, music to my ears. How do I, yeah, good. All right, cool. You guys ready? So today we're going to be talking about the Holocaust. How do I talk about the Holocaust in this fashion to you? And it be genuine, you know, because like it's such a somber, it's such a sad thing to talk about that it's like, oh man, I'm gonna sit in front of a webcam and talk about the Holocaust. It just seems so wrong to me a little bit, but it's what we have to do. So that's why I made the video. Okay, so I made another video. Check this out. Here it is. I'm not gonna play it now. You got to watch this whole lesson, right? But I'm going to play this video. I went for a hike in the woods, and I called it my thoughts on the Holocaust while hiking through the woods. And that's what this video is going to be. I'll play this later. A little sneak peek. See? Huh? Thoughts? My thoughts on the Holocaust through hiking through woods. It's a little bit more somber, so I can actually have a heart-to-heart with you guys about this serious topic. So that's what we're going to be doing. Does everyone understand how the question of the day is going to work? I know I kind of fixed it yesterday where I'm going to do a question of the day every day after my lesson video, and then you guys go into Google Classroom and you are the doc that I attached for you guys, you're just going to keep updating it. Don't submit it. Just keep updating it as you watch the lessons. Keep adding those questions, and I'll be checking periodically throughout the week. And that's how we're going to do some grades. But is everyone okay about that? I'm so confused about the questions. What do you? Well, they're thinking questions, right, Delaney? I'm not asking you like a right or wrong or a yes or no or even a factual question that you can Google. I want you to write a little paragraph. It's designed. The questions are going to be designed to get you to think. So I'm not just going to be like, when did the Holocaust happen? I'm going to ask you like, how do you feel? You know, what makes you think about, and things like that to actually get you to really understand and to show me that you're really thinking about these things, because these are serious times. Like World War II, it's the worst war in human history. 70 million people died. Like, this is not something that is a fact on a piece of paper. You know, maybe I think differently because I served in the military and I went to war, but it's the idea that the war that I fought in Iraq, you know, the war on terrorism, like that's just going to be a footnote in a textbook in 30 years from now is kind of sad for me, because I lost friends over there. It was a huge life-changing experience, and World War II was that times 1,000. And so I just think it's something I want you thinking about, not just answering questions. No, I get the questions, but I don't get if I'm supposed to be handing it in. Don't hand it in. Just fill it out on the Google Class. So I'll show you guys one more time. So what you're going to do is you're going to go, right, you're going to go over to your Google Classroom. Delaney, you are in period 5, right? So you're going to go over to period 5, right? You can click on it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to your assignment. So it's a little bit different for me. Here, question of the week. There it is. So it's going to look like this. You're going to click on your question of the day. Everyone has their own attached. And then for Wednesday, you're going to put it in. Now, I can't keep updating it with the question. So where I'm going to put the question, if we go back here, is I'll add it in the class comment, okay? So let me do that right now, in fact. Actually, no, I'm going to do it, I think, on the main, on the main page. So Wednesday's question right here. So I'll copy that. Let's go question of the week, instructions. There we go. And I'll send that over. So after today, I'm going to put Thursday's question up. So Wednesday's question, with Corvid, look at this. What is with me? What is with me in this word Corvid? It's not Corvid, it's COVID. There's something wrong with my brain. It's this whole quarantine thing. It's got me locked up. I can't even change it. Can we edit this, please? There we go. Let's fix that. COVID. Thank you. Bang. Okay. So I'm going to, right. So with COVID-19 and the quarantine, what are similarities to the sacrifices that we're making today, to the sacrifices people made during World War II on the home front, like victory gardens, like rationing supplies, like things like that. So hopefully that's the thing. Would anyone like me to go in and share what they wrote? If you did, please post it in the chat and I'll bring yours up and we can look at it together on stream and talk about it. I know there's a delay, so I'm just waiting. Let's take a look at the chat. Is the music too loud? Is it good? Yours was good, Delaney? All right, we'll check yours out. All right, here we go. We're going to go to student work. See right here, Grace and Kira, that you guys don't have to turn it in. Unsubmit it so you can keep adding to it. All right, Delaney Kleinman. Where you at? Right here. All right, so this is what Delaney wrote. She wrote, one similarity is that for now we can't go to the store and get whatever we want as easily. Back then, this was because the food supply was short because most supplies were given to the people in the war. Today, it's because people think they need a lot more than necessary. That's true, Delaney. That's a good answer, right? So that is a perfect example of how I kind of want you exploring that answer. Delaney, you did a good job. Thank you for letting us share. By the way, Delaney, there's something called spell check. Check it out. All you got to do is right-click it, and there you go. There we go. All right, cool. Good job, Delaney. Anyone else want me to share theirs? Mr. Volger, mine is horrible. You should check it out, Tyler. Oh, no. Oh, Tyler. Don't say that, Tyler. Let's look at Tyler's. All right. I won't check it out, but we're totally checking it out now. All right, Tyler. Where you at? Tyler, right here. Oh, yours looks good, man. All right, let's see. So, in this time of quarantine, we had to make too many sacrifices in order to slow the spread of the coronavirus, such as social distancing. We also had to conserve food a little bit, not because there's a low supply, but because stores are closed, and in order to keep healthy, it is easier to order online. However, that takes a long time to be shipped. Don't forget, in World War II, they didn't have online, which is crazy to think about that. All they had was stores. However, that takes a long time to be shipped. This is the kind of similarity to the sacrifices made during World War II. For one, not in the U.S., but in many other countries, it was encouraged to stay inside as it could be dangerous to be spotted by overhead planes. That is true, Tyler. That's from World War II. Or, in some cases, occupying soldiers. Another sacrifice made was rationing during World War II. This was in order to have enough for soldiers fighting the war. What's also crazy is victory gardens seem silly to us because we're being quarantined. You know, we're talking like March, April, maybe May, right? In World War II, that war lasted 3 years for the United States, right? Or 4 years. It was like the end of 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. And so the idea of having a victory garden became a bigger thing because people were rationing for years. Right now you can't grow a garden and grow vegetables for this quarantine. We've only been quarantined a couple weeks. Hopefully it won't be like too much longer. But even if it was to the end of the year, by the time your gardens are really harvesting, it's going to be summertime anyway. Yes, the question of the day, I'll post it in chat. You ready? There we go. Question of the day is posted. All right, so I have a meeting at 10 o'clock. So we're going to get this lesson going so that I'm done by 10 o'clock because I am meeting with all your 8th grade teachers. So at the end of this lesson, I'm going to ask if you guys have any questions at all about any questions you want me to ask to Mrs. H, Mrs. Chance, Mr. Spicer, Mr. Shower, Mrs. Bennett, any questions like that, Miss McCormick. Please let me know at the end of the chat. I'll open it up for questions in the the chat, and you guys can ask questions. And then later when I meet with your teachers, I'll ask them those questions. My mom has been having meetings with her teachers. It's so funny. Yeah, we all are. It's crazy. Okay, I'm going to get started. Also, I'm looking for Patrick Nolan. If Patrick Nolan shows up in the chat, please let me know because I want to say hi to him. Yes, Ms. McCormick is going to be there in the virtual meeting. So that is definitely, she should be there. Okay, I'm going to get started. So real quick, let's take a look. A couple things I want to go through with you guys first is, I lost it. See, here it is. All right, the Holocaust. Today we're going to be talking about the Holocaust. And like I said, it's a pretty serious issue. It's a pretty sad one, so I don't really feel comfortable talking about it, which is why I'm going to show you guys the video in a little bit. So, the Nuremberg laws. Really, the Holocaust, it's anti-Semitism. Okay, anti-Semitism is this idea of like hatred towards Jewish people. And it was a thing that was in Europe all the way since the Middle Ages. Catholics and Protestants at times had anti-Semitism kind of grew in their local communities in France and in England and in Germany and in Italy. It's not just a thing. It's not just a Nazi thing, okay? And when I went to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., that was one of the first things in the exhibit that they kind of express is that this isn't something that only existed within the Nazis. Like, the Nazis weren't the only people who didn't like the Jews. That this has been something in history that had been going on. And the Nazis, unfortunately, just took it to the next level. So it really in Nazi Germany, when it starts, it's the Nuremberg laws. These were passed in 1935, and they stated that anyone with Jewish blood will be considered Jewish. So they're starting to separate the population, you know. A lot of kids always ask me, hey, Mr. Volger, how did someone know you were Jewish? Couldn't you fake it? And the reason is, well, years before the Holocaust officially got started, they started to identify who was Jewish and who wasn't. Further restrictions were placed, and the persecution of Jews increased. Jews could not fly the German flag. They could not be citizens of the Third Reich. They couldn't have the right to vote. They had curfews put on them. A lot of serious stuff. And this all kind of started with the Nuremberg laws that really took the anti-Semitism that was already happening in Europe and applied it to law. So now people, it wasn't like, oh, I don't like Jewish people. It was like, oh, I don't like Jewish people and we're going to make laws to hurt them. And it really became, and it really escalated the problem. I should paint my head green and key out so you see the words through. Am I in the way? I can move. How's that look? No, I moved the wrong way. I moved the wrong way. There, how's that? Is that better? I'll shrink myself. There we go. The amazingly shrinking Mr. Volger. There we go. See, I'm tiny now. All right, here we go. Moving on. All right. Night of Broken Glass took place November 1938. Jewish stores, houses, and synagogues were destroyed. Marks the beginning of the widespread government-led violence against Jews. So in 1938 is when we have these laws put into place to hurt Jewish people. But this night, right, the night of broken glass, really is when all these soldiers come out, the police come out, people who support the Nazi Party come out in Germany in 1938, and they start attacking Jewish buildings, religious places and homes, and it really was the first step where the government of Germany really started to be violent towards Jewish people. Who's Joe Fro 13? Hey, Sean Hip, how you doing, sir? Daniel Capone, it's good to see you. I miss you guys. Like Jake Miller in high school, he wrote a tweet that was like, when will this be over? I miss school. I totally miss school. It's weird doing this. All right, here we go. All right, some pictures. So these are some pictures of them burning the religious buildings, throwing bricks through windows, pretty sad stuff. I'm going a little quick here because I have that meeting at 10. Jews in Germany. Jewish registry created where all people with Jewish ancestry had to register with the government. Jews had to wear the Star of David badge. Usually it was on their chest or on their sleeve. You'll notice in some of these pictures that Jews actually have them. That means that they're Jews that lived during this time period. And they were forced to live in isolated ghettos. And this is where the Holocaust really starts, in my opinion, because they actually moved, police come to your house if you're Jewish, and they make you pack your bags, and they take you out of your house, and they put you into an apartment building in an area of town that is designated the Jewish area. So they forcibly relocate Jewish families to live together in these Jewish ghettos. And of course, they barbed wire the neighborhood. They don't let Jewish people out of that area. They have curfews in that area. They don't sell the same food or things in those local Jewish areas. And it really becomes this like bad area of town that the Jews are forced to live in by the Germans. And it's really sad. And this is what makes it, when they start to round them up to send them to concentration camps, they really just go to the Jewish ghetto because all the Jews are already stuck in those ghettos anyway. So here are some pictures. This is not a concentration camp right here. This is actually, that's actually a picture of a Jewish ghetto. See how they have barbed wire around the street? Super sad. You can also see the fence here. So you have the apartment buildings on either side. And they have like, look, there's literally guard soldiers here guarding, checking ID for people coming in and out, not letting Jews leave the Jewish ghetto. Super, super sad. And they actually called it ghetto, which you can see right here, G-E-T-T-O. All right, the final solution. The plan developed by Heinrich Himmler in 1942 to eliminate all Jews from Europe. Jewish people from across Europe were taken to concentration camps. In the camps, they were used for hard labor or killed. The policy resulted in the murder of 6 million Jews. So super sad. Of course, interesting thing though, so they were put into the ghettos. The Night of Broken Glass is in 1938. The Nuremberg laws are in 1935. So 1935, the laws where Jews can't vote. 1938, their stores and homes are attacked. They're relocated to Jewish ghettos. And then 3 years later, they're going to be put into concentration camps with the final solution. So you're going to notice this does not happen overnight. This is a long period of time that this takes place in. There's a picture of the evil Heimlich. This guy is like, I've played video games where he's like the bad guy and you have to kill him. Like, play Wolfenstein. This guy's a bad dude. Auschwitz. So Auschwitz was the largest camp established by Germans during the World War II. More than 1 million people, vast majority of them were Jews, died between 1940 and 1945 in Auschwitz. You're going to say, but Mr. Volger, they didn't start putting Jews into concentration camps until 42. This says 1940. That's because Auschwitz was in Poland. So the first Jews were Polish Jews, and they were considered prisoners of war. When people arrived at Auschwitz, the guards would select who looked fit to work and who went to the gas chambers. Super sad. Here's a photograph. In my video, there's going to be drone footage of Auschwitz today, so you're going to get to see that. Yeah. Super sad stuff. Look at this. So here is a pile of shoes. They would take all their shoes. Here's a pile of eyeglasses. That's crazy. And then these are Jews living. This is actually them in their where they would sleep. So you can see there's no blankets, there's no pillows. And this is Poland. It gets cold in the winter. I mean, they're not being fed. You can see how skinny they are. Super sad stuff. All right. So yeah, that's that. Are there any questions before I'm gonna be putting the chat on a big time? I'm gonna slow it down to about 30 seconds a message because I'm gonna be showing my video and I want you guys to watch my video. So yeah, I want you to watch my video. I'm gonna show it right here on live stream, but before I do it, I would like you to. Are there any questions? Patrick Nolan's in chat. Patrick, hi. Hey, you found us. Awesome job, Patrick. I miss you, man. Are there any questions before I show the video? And then when the video ends, I'm just gonna open it up for a quick Q&A thing, and that's it. All right, here we go. I'm gonna show the video. I'm gonna throw the chat into slow-mo mode. Sorry that I gotta do this, but I'm gonna do it nonetheless. All right, chat's in slow-mo mode. And here we go. I'm gonna bring the video up. So today I thought I'd do a little video and talk to you guys about the Holocaust, right? Because the truth is, the Holocaust is not something that is very fun to talk about, you know? So I'm thinking to myself, how can I really talk to you guys about the Holocaust and make you understand it? I know we all know the basics of it, right? We know that Germany during World War II started to oppress Jewish people, some African people, handicapped people, and, you know, homosexuals, even some Catholics, you know, were caught up in the Holocaust. And it's a difficult topic because we know what happened. We know that these people were mass exterminated. We know that they were killed, okay? But what we don't understand, and even adults don't really understand this, is necessarily why they were killed. You know, what happened in Germany, like that they wanted to do this. They wanted to, you know, lock up these people and put them in jail, you know, women, children, innocent people, and then ultimately start mass exterminating them. And so that's something that it's a tough question to answer as to why, right? We don't necessarily know why. Well, that's not true. We do. It's just, it's complicated. So if I really think about it, the reason why is it has to do with fear, okay? Fear and lack of control. For example, do you know how, like, with the whole COVID-19 situation, when the whole epidemic started, the pandemic, right? People started running out and buying toilet paper. And it got crazy. It was like you went to a store and you couldn't find toilet paper anywhere. And then it got so weird that you started to think to yourself, like, why is everyone buying toilet paper? Like, what is it about COVID-19 that is making people think they're going to run out of toilet paper? And, you know, I don't know the answer to that, but I did read somewhere that a psychologist thinks that it has to do with lack of control. See, when something happens that is out of people's control, people start to panic and they get this need that they want control. And any area in their life they can control. So, for example, one area is people, you know, this pandemic, this virus is going around, schools are obviously not in session and things like this. And so all of a sudden, people want to have some type of control over the situation. They don't understand what's going on and they can't control it. And so what do? They go out and they buy toilet paper, right? They feel like they have to do something. And as silly as it seems, they buy the toilet paper. So that I'm going to connect that to the Holocaust a little bit, right? Because the thing is, that I think after World War I, people were freaking out, and people were, in Germany especially, they didn't understand what was happening, right? They didn't understand why their economy was so bad. They didn't understand how their country that used to be a powerful country was being punished because of World War I, and all of a sudden they had all these situations where no one could find jobs, and there were long food lines to get food, and their money became worthless because of inflation. And people start to panic. And when people start to panic and they don't have control, but they need control, they become they look for ways to become in control. And one way is to turn to fascism and the Nazi Party, right? Because Hitler was telling them that he could get them control, that he knew the answers to the problems. And the truth is that, the economy was garbage. World War I had already happened. The answer is time, right? Time heals all wounds. But Hitler is saying no, that he actually has the solution to the problem. And so what ends up happening is people start to support him, people start to follow him, hoping that he will bring about some type of control. Hitler starts to use the Jews as a scapegoat, right? He uses the Jewish people in Germany as a way that people can target on something, because he can't target on Germany. He can't say, hey, we messed up, we made bad decisions in World War I, we brought our country down this path, right? He has to figure out a way that he can blame someone, that all of the focus can go on that, and he can give people focus, right? And focus is control. So what he does is he starts to blame Jewish Germans. He says, if Jewish Germans did a better job during World War I or after World War I, when the economy was crashing and supported the German people, that Germany would be in a better position. And so what happens is it starts slow, but there becomes like a discrimination towards German Jews. Now, what's crazy about this is in 1925, I never understood this as a kid, because I always thought that technology advances, that people's rights advance as we move forward, right? But in 1925, German Jews had all the rights that a German did, right? They could go to school, they had businesses, they went shopping. It was like you did not know who was Jewish and who wasn't Jewish. And then all of a sudden, because of Hitler, by 1932, these laws start coming into effect, like where German Jewish kids couldn't go to regular schools. They couldn't go to schools with the other German kids. And, they couldn't go shopping. They had a curfew. So Jewish Germans couldn't go in certain areas of town. Or, at 6 o'clock, they couldn't be outside in the street. They could be arrested. And then they couldn't vote. They took the right to vote away from German Jews. And all this stuff starts to happen towards German Jews. And it starts slow, right? So in the beginning, it was like these little things where people were like, it's not that big of a deal, like, yeah, these German Jews are losing rights, but it'll pass, it's no big deal. And then what ends up happening is it doesn't pass. It gets worse and worse. So in the beginning, it's like they couldn't go to the same school. Then it was they couldn't pay, they couldn't have businesses, and they couldn't go in certain areas of the neighborhood. And then it was they couldn't vote, right? And that's a big one. And then it was, they had to relocate them to certain areas in Germany, right? Called the Jewish ghettos. And then ultimately they were relocated to concentration camps. So it was a slow process that took place over, I would say, around 10 years, a decade, that really led the Holocaust to happen. So one thing we can learn from this is that when you lack control and you're panicked, not to take it out on other people or in groups of people. That's ridiculous, right? We have to fight. We have to learn from the history of the Holocaust and know that we can't just take it out on different groups of people, even if that group seems to be the problem. If extremist Islamic people are causing terrorism, it's a lot of people start to think, it's Islamic Middle Eastern people are the problem, when we know we have to fight that urge and say, no, they're not the problem. That there are millions and millions of wonderful Middle Eastern Islamic people, that we're concerned about the violent extremists, and that we can't just lump them all together. We have to understand that there are some things that we don't control, and that's just the way of the world, and that's just the way it's going to be, that we're not going to control everything. And fear leads to discrimination, right? Violence like the Holocaust, right? A genocide, a mass extermination of people. It's horrible. Doesn't happen overnight. This is something that took a decade of building. This is something that, for a decade, Germans could have made a change and changed it. But it was a slow process. Think of it like bullying. Bullying doesn't just happen. You don't just show up to school and you're horrifically bullied, right? It starts out slow, and then it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And next thing you know, a year later, you're being horrifically bullied, and you're like, how did I get here? And the answer is simple. You got here because it started slow and it built up over time.
and nobody stuck up. No one stopped it. You didn't stop it. The teachers didn't stop it. Your friends didn't stop it. Your parents didn't stop it. There's all these checks in place that never happened. And that's kind of what happened during the Holocaust. For 10 years, it slowly built up where Jewish people were losing their rights until it led to that one moment where they start to relocate them. And at that point, most of the people didn't think it was that big of a deal because it had been going on for a decade. And so that's all I'm really going to say about the Holocaust right now. I mean, the notes are going to cover more, but that's just kind of what I wanted to share with you guys. It's a very scary thing. It could easily happen again today. Another thing that's important to know about the Holocaust, why it's so fascinating to people, is that Germany at that time was the most advanced, best country in the world, and they committed the Holocaust. And so it teaches us a lesson that even the richest, most powerful nation is susceptible to something as horrible as genocide and mass extermination. And we never can forget how important it is for us to remember that we always have to take care of each other, and even people who disagree with us we have to take care of, right? That we can have disagreements and arguments, but taking people's rights away is never the answer. And when we start to see it happen, when we see discrimination, if we don't actively fight against it, it'll never go away. All right? See you guys. Bye.
All right, I'm back. Hi, guys. I know I'm late for my meeting. I'm okay. Okay, so real quick, I just posted the question of the day in the chat. What are the major things that we need to remember and learn from the Holocaust? So I'm going to go put that into your Google Classroom assignment right now. I'm going to do that into the main, right here, right? We're going to put, boom. Question of the day. There it is. All right, so real quick, if anyone has anything that you want me to ask, because I'm about to end the stream and about to go have meetings with your 8th grade teachers. So if there's any questions at all for your 8th grade teachers, please ask, and I'll make sure to bring that up. And then tomorrow at 10 a.m. when I go live, I will tell you what they responded. So don't forget that virtual Spirit Week is coming up. So every day I'm going to be taking part. Also, one thing that Mr. and Mrs. Volger are doing on Friday at 3 p.m. is we're going to have a weekly wrap-up live stream. It's going to include Mrs. Volger and myself. So we're going to be talking about like both 6th grade stuff because she's a 6th grade facts teacher. And we're going to be talking about 8th grade things and just Center Merchants community. It's not going to be lesson-based. We're just going to be talking about our lives and this whole quarantine thing. And so you're more than welcome to visit us there. Yeah, I'm sure my son will show up in the reveal. Oh, you guys are getting in my head. My son will show up on the live stream, the weekly wrap-up at 3 p.m. on Friday. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going back to 10 o'clock, only on Thursdays. Why did Mr. Volger give us 160 questions, Sean? I'll make sure that he does that. He knows that. I'll bring that up to him. Are you going to post the slides you showed to help us answer the question? Of course, but this video, Delaney, saves on my YouTube channel. So you can always go back and rewatch the video. I'm going to leave the video up on the YouTube channel. So after this live stream ends, the video is going to be posted. Okay? Can you ask Mr. Spicer if there's a due date on the Castle Learning? Isabella, I will ask, Izzy. No worries. So I'm going to leave the chat open so that when I'm doing the Zoom conference with your teachers, I'll be able to look at the chat and kind of read what you guys are doing. How will quizzes work? I'm not going to really have quizzes. We're just going to be doing the questions of the day. I might ask you to read an article and answer some questions, but no quizzes. Can you ask Mr. I already said that, Izzy. Christian. Shout out to Christian. All right, there you go. Our teachers, if we have to do any work. Ask the teachers if we have to do any work. You do. Duh. They aren't. Other classes. Can you ask Mr. Shower if he's quirky, Mark? You always have interesting questions. Are you grading what we did yesterday? Yes. I'm going to be grading what you did yesterday, what you did today, and what you do tomorrow. I'll probably start grading them tomorrow, so you have some time. All right, that's it, guys. I'm going to go. I have another meeting to go to. What's happening with NYP project? James, how you doing, James? The NYP project, community project, is indefinitely postponed. So you do not have to do it this year. They've canceled it. So that's something that you need to know. Ask Mr. Shower how Friday quizzes work. I will. And how are we getting graded on WoW quizzes? I will ask. Make sure you're here tomorrow for when I go over the answers. Derek, stop asking for elbow reveal. That's weird. The whole thing. Okay. So that's it, guys. I'm going to go. I'm going to leave the chat open. So even though I'm not going to be responding, I'll see your questions if you have them. Okay. I started early because I have a meeting at 10 o'clock, which I'm now 7 minutes late to. So there you go. All right. I got to go, guys. I'll see you guys later. It's been fun. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Question of the day has been posted. What are the major things that we need to remember and learn from the Holocaust? Give me a short little paragraph. Okay, guys? I'll see you later. Bye.